To the outside world, Jennifer Pan seemed like the good daughter, the quiet daughter, the daughter with a future. But her life was a house of cards. Fake grades, fake university, fake career plans, and one relationship her parents wanted gone. Then, Jennifer made a choice that led to her mother losing her life and her father left permanently disabled and blind in a hire-for-murder plot. How did she end up betraying her parents in the worst way imaginable? A man. The man her parents refused to let her be with. Welcome to Because of Him, where every true crime story has one thing in common. A woman whose obsession, jealousy, or desire for a man drove her to commit a shocking crime. Jennifer Pan was born on the 17th of June, 1986, and grew up in Ontario, Canada. Her parents, Bic Ha Pan and Han Pan, had come from Vietnam with basically nothing and built a comfortable life for their two children. To the neighbours, Jennifer was the dream child. Figure skater, piano player, honour roll student. But behind closed doors, none of that was quite true. And that gap between the image and reality is honestly where this whole story starts. Jennifer spent years building an entire fake life just to keep her parents happy. And when that fake life started falling apart, she did not come clean. She doubled down. That decision, more than anything, tells you everything you need to know about her. Bic Ha and Han held their daughter to an incredibly high standard. Straight A's, a future in pharmacy or medicine, no boyfriends until she was finished with school. Jennifer was smart enough to keep up appearances for a long time. She forged report cards. She told her parents she had been accepted into a university science program, although she never actually enrolled. For years, she left the house every morning pretending to go to lectures that did not exist. Around grade 11, 16-year-old Jennifer started a relationship with a boy named Daniel Wong, age 17, who was a year above her in school. Her parents strongly disapproved of the relationship as soon as they found out. They thought he was a bad influence, and they were not exactly wrong. Daniel had a reputation for being tangled up with drugs and small-time crime. And, like a lot of teenage romances, the more her parents tried to keep them apart, the more Jennifer wanted him. For years, Jennifer and Daniel continued seeing each other in secret. But when her father found out, he came down hard on Jennifer. He took her phone and cut off her access to the car she had been driving. Mind you, Jennifer was in her early 20s by this time. She later described this period of her life as feeling like a prisoner in her own home. We can all agree that controlling parenting causes real damage to children in the long run. But there is a massive difference between feeling controlled and deciding your parents need to be eliminated because of it. By 2010, the pressure was building on every side. Jennifer's fake university and career were about to be exposed. Her relationship with Daniel was also in pieces, on and off more times than anyone could count. And her parents' grip on her life was tightening rather than loosening. Jennifer found herself backed into a corner. And as the saying goes, a cornered person sometimes sees danger where there is none. So, she came up with a plan to get rid of the obstacle in front of her, which happened to be her own mother and father. Jennifer, who was 24 at the time, began reaching out to people in Daniel's circle to arrange what she described to police as a home invasion. The evidence later presented in court revealed that Jennifer had arranged to pay for her father to be murdered and enlisted Daniel to help organize the hit and find people willing to carry it out. Daniel's job was to bring 3 men into the plan: Lenford Crawford, David Milvaganam, and a getaway driver named Eric Carty. On the night of November 8th, 2010, in the family's home, the men arrived and staged what was meant to look like a random home invasion gone wrong. Jennifer was tied to the upstairs banister with a shoelace, positioned to look like just another victim. Downstairs, her parents were taken into the basement. Both were shot with a weapon the intruders brought with them. Her mother, Bic Ha, 53 at the time, did not survive the attack, even though Jennifer had specifically told her accomplice not to harm her. Han, age 66, was left with catastrophic injuries and later lost his sight permanently. Jennifer called 911 herself that night, sobbing, describing masked intruders and a terrifying ordeal.
What's your name?
My name is Jennifer.
Someone just broke in?
Someone broke in and I heard shots like pops. I don't know what's happening. I'm tied upstairs.
Does it sound like gunshots?
I don't know what gunshot sounds like. I just heard a pop. No, I don't know where my parents are. I'm okay. My dad just went outside screaming.
Do you think your mom is downstairs too?
I don't hear her anymore. Please hurry. I don't know what's happening.
For a while, police treated Jennifer as a victim too. In the days that followed, they worked a few different angles at once. They looked at whether this had been a random home invasion, a robbery that went wrong, or something tied to drug activity in the area. One by one, those theories fell apart. The first real crack came from Han himself. Once he was well enough to speak with police, he told them he remembered Jennifer speaking calmly with one of the men in the house, which did not exactly line up with her account of being tied up and terrified the entire time. From there, detectives went over her account with a fine-tooth comb. The way she described untying herself did not match what investigators actually found at the scene, and her version of what the intruders said and did kept shifting slightly every time she told it. Then came the paper trail. Detectives phone records and text messages and found months of communication between Jennifer and Daniel, including hundreds of messages that suspiciously lined up with the timeline of the attack. Jennifer was brought in for questioning more than once, and each time, detectives had a little more ammunition. On November 22, 2010, she was brought in for another interrogation with one of the lead detectives in the case. The whole fabricated life she had built for years began to unravel. The lies about university, the secret relationship, the financial arrangements. Piece by piece, it all pointed back to her. Jennifer was eventually arrested and charged along with her boyfriend Daniel and the other co-conspirators. She pleaded not guilty, and the case went to a lengthy trial. The Crown Court argued that Jennifer had orchestrated the entire plot because her parents stood between her and the life and the man she wanted. On December 13, 2014, a jury found Jennifer Pan guilty of first-degree murder and attempted murder at the age of 28. Her three co-accused, Daniel Wong, Lenford Crawford, and David Milverganam, were convicted on the same counts. On January 23, 2015, Jennifer was sentenced to life in prison for the first-degree murder of her mother, along with a concurrent life sentence for the attempted murder of her father, with parole possible only after serving 25 years. At the time, it looked like the story was over. It was not. In 2023, the Ontario Court of Appeal ordered new trials on the first-degree murder convictions for Jennifer Pan and her co-accused. The court found that the trial judge had not properly instructed the jury on the possible verdicts available to them, meaning the jury was essentially only given two options: convict of first-degree murder or acquit entirely. When the law actually allowed for other possibilities, such as manslaughter, the attempted murder convictions for the attack on her father were upheld and remained untouched. The Crown Court appealed that decision, pushing to have the original murder convictions restored, and the case went all the way to the Supreme Court of Canada. In April 2025, the Supreme Court sided with the Court of Appeal and confirmed that Jennifer and her co-accused were entitled to new trials on the murder charge, while their attempted murder convictions stood firm. In March 2026, rather than face a second murder trial, Jennifer Pan pleaded guilty to the lesser charge of manslaughter in the death of her mother. She received a life sentence, but with the possibility of parole and no mandatory minimum term. So here we are, 15 years after that fateful night. Jennifer Pan has gone from a convicted murderer to a woman convicted of manslaughter, with a real chance of walking free sooner than expected. Meanwhile, her surviving father is permanently blind, his wife is gone, and all because Jennifer traded her family's lives for a man she wanted. A man who is no longer even in her life. Subscribe and stay tuned for the next shocking story. There is always a male-centered woman whose obsession, jealousy, or desire for a man ended in tragedy.